Okay, now staying in the NFL, we're gonna talk about the highly successful Emmy-winning series from HBO, Hard Knocks, a series that take you behind the scenes, uncut, unscripted for most NFL teams. But this time, it's a little twist for it. Usually, this is a series that goes on during the preseason, but this would be the first year that we would have the series going on during the regular season, and the first team up the bat, the Indianapolis Colts this year, that'll be the first team to test it out. So, with that said, Jay, what are your thoughts about the Colts? Jumping into this reality TV during the regular season.
I don't love it. Not and I don't even think I like it. I do think obviously entertainment value. I think there's plenty of fans that'll probably get some enjoyment out of this. It's certainly a different flavor when you add this as an element during the middle of the season. This has always been a preseason training camp type thing. But I do wonder, if I'm in that Colts locker room, if I'm on the coaching staff, if I'm Frank Reich, I'm wondering how they feel about this. Because if you look at the Colts, this is a team, especially they just came off a week one loss to Seattle. They got a fair amount of expectations on them. Remember last year they were in the playoffs with the old rundown Phillip Rivers. Seemingly, you would think they got somewhat of an upgrade with Carson Wentz reuniting with his old offensive coordinator Frank Reich, who had him, playing at an MVP level at one more seems like a long time ago now, but it did happen. And this seems like this just doesn't seem like a good situation for this type of stuff. I'd like to know who made this call. My gut says this is a Jim Irsay thing. The owner, maybe he's looking for a little bit more attention. He seems like the type of owner that enjoys the spotlight a little bit. Even though I can't imagine, I don't think he'll be in the program all that much. But he just seems like one of those guys who he could use a few more cameras around. But I think during the season, especially if you remember the coaching staff, I mean, this seems like, and I hate to invoke the the old distraction word, but that's what it seems like, that this could be somewhat of a distraction. I'm just reading, one of the press clippings off of this. Obviously, and ESPN said, oh yeah, the storyline is Carson Wentz, doing a thing, trying to get back to the form where he was somewhat good. He was a number 2 pick, 5 years ago. And then they say something that just obviously gets on my nerves. Another story for the Colts this season is the number of players who are not vaccinated. Who the hell cares? Like, will you stop? Like, please.
The people cares. The people.
ESPN cares. Yeah, that's a big story. So, but that leads you to say, like, is that what we're doing? Like, is that part of like Hard Knocks gonna be coming there and they're gonna be like, oh, let's videotape the unvaccinated getting their little COVID test and like make sure everybody's mask compliant. I know one thing, everybody will be mask compliant on this team with the Hard Knocks cameras extra, even though all the teams probably getting recorded. But I don't love this, and I don't love this for the Colts. I mean, I think we touched on this a little bit before the show. This seems like something like you would want for a team like Houston or the Jets or Jacksonville, maybe. A team that doesn't really have expectations at all, and just let's like throw this team a bone, give them some extra attention. I mean, who cares about a distraction because we don't anticipate they'll be very good. Or Atlanta. Let's get Atlanta in here, Put the camera on Matt Ryan one more time because I think he's about done. But no, all in all, I don't love this. I think this is, I don't know how it compares with other situations, but the Colts with Carson Wentz and what he's trying to do to resurrect his career, it just seems like a little bit unnecessary attention. I don't think they need it.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is unnecessary. Here's the deal. I got a question for you, Jay. I don't know how much of this series you done watch. It's been around for a while. When have you watched a whole series of Hard Knocks about any team and thought when you got done watching it, yo, that team is better for having Hard Knocks? Hard Knocks made that team better. Like I can't wait to see them this season.
I've watched very little of it overall. I've seen pieces of a couple of seasons, but not very much at all. So, but if I had to guess, I would say like I can't imagine this being something that would like help a team a great deal. I see it as more of a net negative than net positive.
Right. And the reason I ask you that is because I know for some people they might say, well, it's other sports that have, reality TV or have like cameras, some type of docu-series or whatever the case might be. For instance, boxing, they have it's called 24/7. So box for HBO, when HBO was doing boxing, their version of this reality TV show was called 24/7. Showtime also, they have a version. It's called All Access. And then if you go to the UFC arena, they also have I forgot the name of theirs, but they have a version of it as well. It's like UFC 24/7 or something along that line. My point is, I would be all for reality TV if it sold a game, if it promoted a game. So if you told me I watched Hard Knocks and it's promoting the Colts versus the Rams, so you give me this insight on what the Colts might do, and then you give me the insight about what the Rams going to do. Now that I'm here for, because they're selling a game.
Right.
But if you're just walking the cameras around trying to check out the COVID-19 protocols,
Yeah.
what's going on with Carson Wentz, what's going on in his head, is what's going on with the owner? Is he, has he put the bottle down? Like if that's what you're doing, then like I don't care for that. But if you're selling
has a little TMZ feel to it, like
right, like they're just gonna be scratching the clown, and that's their job. That's what HBO is paid to do. That is what the NFL, signed the contract to do. But I just wish it did more instead of the TMZ propaganda feel. Tabloid feel, I should say.
Right. Yeah.
I would rather do more of a promotion, just like HBO's, 24/7, Showtime, All Access. Give me the behind the scenes, but give me something that I could chew on. Oh man, that looked good. Now I'm ready to see this fight, or I'm ready to see this. That's why I have a problem with it. I have not watched one Hard Knocks and it really like amped me up to see a game. I might care it for a team a little more. I'm not gonna lie. That Hard Knocks with the Raiders, with John Gruden out here doing what he doing, and Antonio Brown doing this, and Mike Mayock over here, Darren Waller, they making him sound like the worst dude ever. You had Crosby, you got Nathan Peterman after 16 interceptions in 16 games, whatever. 16 quarters, right? They rolling him out here to, So I'm not gonna lie, that made me say, "Oh, let me see what the Raiders are gonna be talking about." And then 2 games later, I'm like, "Yeah, Hard Knocks didn't really do anything for him." So that's my problem with it. I just don't see the benefit. You made a deal, you got to fulfill that deal. It's gonna make you some money. I'm pretty sure the fans, I think casual fans like it. I don't know if this really for hardcore NFL fans. I think they probably think this really gimmicky as well. But with that said, the Colts is the first team in the shoot. I just don't see why they would agree to do this. Maybe I could be totally wrong, but I don't see how this helps Carson Wentz. I don't see how he comes out of this looking better than he did when it going in. I don't see how this helped Frank Reich. I don't see how this promotes the defense. The GM, the owner, I don't know. I just don't see it. So we'll see how that goes. Shouts out to HBO and everything they got going on over there. But I don't know how Hard Knocks help these teams out all that much other than getting their brand out.
You think this will result? One thing I'm thinking about as far as the distraction piece, and I think, we may be inflating that a little bit because these guys are professionals. They should be able to, maybe adapt and overcome a little bit. But I'm thinking about the post game pressers and maybe even the local media even more. I'm sure those guys will be paying attention to this and you know, as opposed to asking like questions that matter. Are we gonna hear questions about something they saw on Hard Knocks, which is like, you know, trivial in nature? You know, I think that's something that might be worth paying attention to.
And here's the thing, like we talked about before the show, you know, one of the bigger things I don't like is like these young quarterbacks, they go into this series and they don't understand how something simple gets drawn out. Like I told you, Jared Goff, the one I watched with him, and like that series made Jared Goff and Jeff Fisher just look like, you got to be kidding me. First of all, how is Jeff Fisher still a head coach? And how did Jared Goff even get drafted #1? I mean, they asked him this question, you know, hey Jared, which way does the sun set and which way does the sun rise? And my man was just like, oh, like he was just stuck. It took him the whole series to answer that question. And only thing I got out of that was, I guess they're saying Jared Goff ain't that smart. Like, I don't know. or the thing I got out of Jeff Fisher is, man, he don't look like much of a coach, but he can give you that pink slip with grace. I mean, when he come in there, he talk to you and let you know you get cut. He does it in such a manner where you can't even get mad at him. You're like, all right, coach, you right. I should get my act together. You know, I did have the most sacks in preseason, but I'm gonna go out here, get my act together, whatever. But when it came to X's and O's, that series did nothing good for Jeff Fisher. So that's how I kind of look at Hard Knocks. It brings out some stuff, and it create narratives, and I just don't see how that's good for any NFL team.